What's going on, everybody? It's your main man back on the scene with another video. If you're new to the channel, please smash that like button and subscribe to help the channel grow. It will be greatly appreciated. So I was wondering, what were the biggest franchises? Which, of course, sure, we already know Marvel's going to be number one. I just did a search. Just wanted to read a little something. So I haven't read this, but I'm going to skip over that beginning part because I really don't want to go through all that. So coming in at number 10 is Lord of the Rings at 5.8 billion. In my opinion, Lord of the Rings is the best trilogy, period. Second to none. Better than Star Wars, better than Batman. What was that? Nolan Ryan's Batman? Whatever his name was. This is the best trilogy. It's the most consistent. Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire Strike Back were awesome. But Return of the Jedi, not so much. Definitely the weakest of the three. So there has been heavy discourse about the upcoming Amazon Prime TV series based on J.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings books called Lord of the Rings of Power. The disappointment appears to be universal. From costumes to dwarves without beards and to them getting many details wrong, like race changes, Negro elves. It probably won't gain too much of an audience like the original trilogy managed. We're talking about a trilogy that was directed by Peter Jackson and had all three films shot simultaneously, starring big names such as Elijah Wood, which I never heard of him at that time, Ian McKellen, Magneto, Kate Blanchett, Orlando Bloom. Jackson has definitely set the bars high for fantasy franchises, given the Lord of the Rings trilogy has grossed over 5.8 billion. Batman. So now, which one are they talking about? They're just talking about Batman, period, or a specific related group of movies. So I'm going to say they just lump them all together, which I don't know about that. We're all aware that once the Batman starring Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz releases in March 2022, so this article is a couple months old, the ranking of the highest grossing movies and franchises might change. DC Comics Batman has been adapted more than 13 times over the span of 82 years, and the craze probably won't die down anytime soon. That is the only DC comic book that actually still sells, pretty much. 6.04 billion is more than enough to confirm that the fandom wants to see more of Gotham City, Caped Crusader. XMen coming in at 6.06 billion. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are back at it again, with rightfully taking credit for creating the X-Men mutants and allowing it to become the 8th most highest grossing movie franchise of all time, with 6.06 billion. Since the Marvel Studios obtained rights to the X-Men franchise, it was only a matter of time until the worlds would merge together on screen. With the recent release of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer, we can certainly confirm that the X-Men will appear in the MCU franchise although they have already been in some fandom disputes. We're excited to see how this works out. I'm hoping that it's going to be a good movie, but I don't know. Coming in at number 7 at 6.6 billion, Fast and Furious. Looking back at the Fast and Furious franchise, it could get a little ridiculous and unrealistic, and yet you can't help to but completely love everything about it. The franchise has grossed over 6.6 billion throughout 20 years so far. We still have two more movies to look forward to. I thought they were only going to go to 10, which will conclude the series. The franchise perfectly mixes the sense of family with danger and illegal wrongdoings. We can also thank it for thrusting Vin Diesel and Paul Walker to stardom. Coming at number 6, The Avengers. This right here doesn't really make sense because whatever. Except that, if it's gonna be part of the total of the MCU, then why are they separating them from it? But whatever. Avengers at 7.76 billion. We all have the knowledge of just how massive MCU is, but you still have to admit that the 4 films alone grossing over 7.76 billion is more than impressive. Has anyone ever watched the Avengers quadrilogy independently of the other movies? Does it still make sense? Sometimes it feels nostalgic to think about what it was like back in 2012 when everyone had their floor in the Avengers Tower. But we have to accept that the chapter is already closed for now, with the new MCU heroes joining the fray. New Avengers, team ups, and formations are bound to happen. MCU is dead. Let's keep it all the way a buck. It's more like the MCU. It's just not going to fly. They need to cut the nonsense. The first Avengers, I like the first Avengers and Infinity War. To me, those are the two best ones. Those are my favorite. Other ones, not so much. The first one, I saw it on my phone. Then I was like, oh, I gotta go see this in the movie. So I got up in the morning and watched it on IMAX 3D. So that's one of my favorite ones. Coming in at number 5, James Bond, 7.88 billion. The recent James, I never liked the Daniel Craig series. Just doesn't do it for me. He just doesn't seem like he's into it. He doesn't have the charisma to me. Sean Connery, David Niven, George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton. I wasn't too crazy about him either. Pierce Bronson and Daniel Craig have all portrayed the agent 007 by the name of James Bond from 1962 to 2021. This equals to 27 movies which have grossed over 7.88 billion worldwide, despite some criticisms of the franchise's narrative elements and being a lady killer and a masculine heterosexual male, which are bad in today's world. It is no secret that Bond is the most renowned spy character in the history of cinema. The amount of speculation that has gone into the search for the next James Bond is a testament to the franchise's longevity. And I hope they don't do the race swap thing. If they're gonna do that, they should keep James Bond as 007 and maybe have a brother man as 009 or something like that. Or, since they were trying to do the female thing, and there is, they do have an original black character, like Cleopatra Jones, she could be the American counterpart. You do something like that for the nostalgia purposes. They're not going to do that. At number 4, we have Harry Potter at 9.20 billion. The success of the Harry Potter book series was a big indicator of how the films would do when Warner Brothers decided to develop them. You never know. There's no telling how people would take to it. Especially if you don't stick to the source material. 10 movies have managed to gross over 9.20 billion in the worldwide box office. All 4 directors that worked on the movies, Chris Columbus, Alfonso Cuarón, Mike Newell, and David Yates, put their unique spin on the style and the storytelling. The Fantastic Beast is a great spin-off prequel, but we would definitely love to see a series dedicated to the Marauders eras at Hogwarts. Fantastic Beast. The first movie was... I liked the first movie. The first movie was good, but the second one was terrible. I think I nodded off like 3 times on that. Coming at number 3, SpiderMan. 9.25 billion. It's only recently that the Spider-Man franchise took Harry Potter's 3rd place as the highest grossing franchise. It's all thanks to the release of the latest Spider-Man No Way Home movie, which grossed over 1.53 billion worldwide. I think it's a little higher now. Although Kevin Feige confirmed that they are developing a 4th MCU Spider-Man movie, it's hard to say how it's going to work out given the ongoing conflict between Disney and Sony. No matter the drama of disputes, Spider-Man still ranks 3rd with over 9.25 billion. And Sony ain't giving up Spider-Man. It's a cash cow. They're making too much money with. They're not going to give that up. It's not happening. That's a dead issue. And I don't want to see. I wouldn't want to see Disney on them anyway because they would just mess it up. They wouldn't do a good job with it. Coming in at number 2, Star Wars at 10.31 billion. 9 movies grossing over 10.31 billion, and all nominated for the Academy Awards at some point. This is as clear an indication of both critical and commercial success as can be. We wonder if George Lucas, or Lucas's, intention to make a pop cultural phenomenon out of a sci-fi movie, something never seen before the 70s. I doubt it. Nobody knew it was going to blow up like that. With 3 separate film trilogies and another planned trilogy on the way, it's safe to say that Star Wars will more than likely keep its spot on the list. I doubt it. Because Disney is crap. I saw the weirdo videos that they had, the leaked videos. And if you're infested with activists, which many of us have been talking about for quite some time now, they don't have the ability to create anything worthwhile. The only way to turn this franchise around is they would have to purge all the activists out of Lucasfilm, which I don't know if they can. And if they're going to do a trilogy, you should write all the movies at the same time. And try to close as many plot holes as you possibly can. Then you can make a good trilogy. But they're not going to do that. And you can already see, last but not least, Marvel Cinematic Universe at $25.56 billion. And the way they keep printing money, that might not even be worth anything. But anyways, at last, we have a franchise that is so far ahead of the box office numbers that it's nearly impossible to take its place. I wouldn't say that. Because if they had as many Star Wars movies as they had with Marvel, I think it would give it a run for the money, if not pass, because it has made like almost half the money with 9 movies, and 3 of them were trash, and the other 3 were so-so, except for Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith was good. I like that one. But the first 2, Phantom Menace and I believe Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones was alright. Phantom Menace, that Jar Jar. I don't even want to get on that. So, from Iron Man in 2008 to SpiderMan No Way Home in 2021, the Marvel Cinematic Universe keeps proving there are more stories to tell. So they're not going to tell the best stories. Because we already see they're going to the MCU phase, which it's a wrap. Like they did Black Widow dirty. Black Widow should have gotten a movie, I'd say, either after Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3. They're going to wait for her to be gone and then make a movie. Like, what? That made no sense. But the best movies, the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movies are Iron Man and Winter Soldier. Those are the top 2. Even though some are afraid the universe is getting too complicated and nonsensical, the 25.56 billion mark is a sign they won't stop anytime soon. They're going to keep going till they crash and burn. You can see that coming anyway. Shang-Chi wasn't that good. Black Widow wasn't that good. Eternals, no comment. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below, like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next video. Peace.